So we have been told that all the opportunities, specifically professional opportunities, are only available in the cities. However, now with a lot of globalization that has happened, the world has become a very small place. If you have the right kind of skills, if you believe in value creation for others with a growth mindset, you can actually work from anywhere and intend to do whatever you want to do professionally. So this belief is what I wanted to challenge, and that's where I moved to the hills, and I've been growing my professional portfolio now as I was doing in any other place. For me, success means progressive fulfillment of worthwhile dreams. And if you start thinking about passive income as your main life support, then you have already lost. So for me, building multiple streams of income that is not only for money, but to add something for the society and for yourself is the real thing. And with that mindset, I believe that instead of focusing on getting a passive income, let me create multiple sources of income where I can enjoy and earn a lot more. So I did schooling from Himachal. Then I moved to Kurukshetra and university after my school, and I did my graduation there. But unfortunately, 9/11 happened and the industry, completely crashed. And when I completed my graduation, there were no jobs at all in the industry. Year and a half, I did very odd jobs just to get some food on my plate. I did not have much financial support at that point in time. And then after a lot of struggle, I got my first, break in a regular IT company. There I started my job, and my first salary was around 8,000 rupees. I also met my present wife there, and she was earning 3 times more than me, but she had a lot of confidence in me that I will do well in life. Then very quickly I learned a lot of skills which were required at that point in time. I moved to 3 companies within 3 years, and then started doing really well. And I started a very good consulting career. So I was traveling in different countries and doing great work there. And after my marriage, I wanted another job where I don't have to now travel that much. So I joined a very nice organization, Adobe, and there I spent a lot of time. And my career really flew there. I got promotion almost every year, and eventually I started heading the analytics practice for our field or organization there. And I was at around 50 lakh per annum. It looked like the best and the perfect success story by the books. I was driving a big car, living in a large house, and traveling business class. However, the reality was seen at home, where when you come back, you don't have any time for anything, and you are always stressed about work. The first thing you do when you wake up in the morning, you open your phone to check the emails. The last thing that you do in the day before sleeping is again checking your emails. So that's not a life that I wanted to continue for the rest of my professional journey.
When Anuj planned to leave the corporate life and move to the mountain, I was not shocked. I was aware about his dream since long, that he always wanted to settle down in Himachal. But definitely there was a concern of uncertainty, our finances, our career, and our child education. So we really had that thought in mind always.
So I won't say there was a fear. However, yes, I was more careful about a few things. For my kids' education, I have one son who's now in 11th standard. He studies in a boarding school, which is very, very close to our place. And that's where strategically we built this house here. He has shown us complete transformation when he moved here. And I just love to see how he's growing, both academically and in his extracurricular activities. Apart from that, he is now very actively involved in sports as well. So it is getting overall grooming and development for him. So that's, I think, the best thing that has happened to us. When we move to places like hills, our body automatically gets very healthy. So you get less sick. And in India, even if you go to remote places, you still get some basic healthcare availability there. So that part has been taken care of by that. Then the place that we picked is very strategic. It gives us the luxury of both being in a remote place, and it is not too far from the tier 2 cities. So when I made this switch, I did some planning for my professional journey. I did not have the long-term vision that exactly what is going to happen and I'll have multiple streams of income. However, there was some framework where I used the learning and experience that I had gained in 15, 16 years working in the corporate of consulting. So I honed my skills of consulting. And second, I was being invited to some B schools for visiting lectures or guest lectures while I was in the job. And that was something that I really, really enjoyed. So I thought, let me build this skill as well, because that can give you a lot of independence and a lot of flexibility to continue, teaching kids. And at the same time, consulting with the B schools for new programs, etc. So I then planned that I should develop these skills, as well as I should complement this with formal education in it. So then I also plan to do a PhD from a top tier school in India. So, and for consulting, I then started learning more, taking more riskier projects, larger projects. And very soon I was able to then create value for others and started freelancing. While doing this freelancing, I was able to then completely get independent of my job. And then I completely quit it. So if I have to tell someone about the planning that somebody has to do before moving or before making this switch, first is getting financial education, at least the basic one, to understand what is inflation, what is the present value, future value of money, real rate of interest. Because a lot of people even don't understand that, and then they miscalculate all the financials. Once the basic understanding is there, you prepare your own personal balance sheet and see what is your expenses, liabilities, assets, and then accordingly it becomes very easy for you to create your backup plan for the future, etc. Second layer is your personal development, right? You need to choose and first explain what is the primary reason for you to make this switch, and what are the things that you are okay to give up versus what are the things that are must have for you. Accordingly, then you make a long-term plan for yourself. For personal development, you upgrade your skills and make sure you will be able to sustain some financial income in the short term, and then in the long term you have to make your planning and just keep exponentially growing to that. When somebody starts to explore the place and they need to identify where would they move, I think there is a proper checklist. First of all, spend some time in the hills, get familiar with the weather, environment, etc. Drive down to isolated places, talk to as many people as you can in the local communities. Second is talk to people who have recently moved and get their experiences, the challenges that they have faced, etc. And this is more important for those who don't have their hometown or they have never lived in hills, right? So this is going to be very important. Then comes some basic primary elements. Make sure that you have checked that there is good water supply, there is good electricity availability, which is fortunately available in the whole Himachal, right? We always have surplus electricity and we provide to other states. Regarding the security, this is a very secure place, so no concerns on that mostly. Then again, look at the localities for schools, hospitals, market accessibility, etc. People used to move to Uttarakhand first because people can't buy land in Himachal. But this has changed. There is a particular law called 118 where now anybody can purchase some part of land which shouldn't be agricultural land, and there are some norms to it. So now moving to Himachal has become a little easy as compared to the past. So that can be worked out with the authorities, etc. And there are a lot of nice people to guide on that part. When we moved here, our monthly expenses considerably went down. If I take some examples to compare apple to apples, for example, if you look at where we were living earlier in Noida, just our society maintenance and electricity bill was anywhere every month between 20 to 25,000 rupees. And that was happening even when we are always out of our house in the office. Here we are always at home, and that cost has went down to almost 1 20th of what we were spending there. Similarly, in other scenarios where now we don't have to spend money and more importantly time in driving and wasting resources, so that money automatically gets saved. If you are going for a weekend trip from cities, again you have to drive or go far. From here it's very close by, so those expenses are less. We always invested money in healthy eating and conscious eating. That has even grown further here, and here we also get an opportunity to grow our own vegetables and a lot of other things, so a lot of money is saved there as well. So overall, yes, it's considerably less now if you have the same or similar lifestyle. So if I compare my income now, when I made the switch, it dipped drastically. For a couple of years, it was lower, and then it started to move up. Now I earn a lot more than what I was earning there. So I'll consider only 4 sources of income right now. So from my consulting work, it is less than 20 lakhs, so it would range between 15 to 20 because I'm reducing that right now. From teaching it and academic consulting, I get handsome amount of money because I do that in India and abroad. So it easily gets into the range of 50 lakh plus every year. Then my AI consulting company, that also again gives me the same kind of money, give or take 5-10 lakh rupees. And agri-tech has just started getting converted into some revenue generation. From the back end, we are also reinvesting that money. But yes, again, I get 15-20 lakh rupees easily from it. So one thing I experienced is that the world is full of opportunities. But when you are in a routine job, you can't see and experience all of that. When I was working, my whole idea was that I need to get up, go to office, do whatever I can do there to get promotion and better salary, and come back home and sleep. When I moved out of the corporate life, I actually experienced what opportunities exist in this world. And if you are skillful, and if you are okay to experience, experiment, and take some risks, you can get a plethora of great opportunities. So many people think that if somebody is moving from a city to an isolated place or hills, they are actually giving up on their ambition. And because we have always been narrated this premise that ambition means that you are picking a job or a business and then spending rest of your life into that and climbing the ladder based on titles and salary, etc. But if you move, then you're leaving all of that. However, for me, it was very conscious decision that I need to now raise the bar, set even more aggressive targets, but they are very meaningful rather than just chasing some number or being part of the rat race. So I have some milestones that I had put for me in terms of the health, the financial status, the kind of corpus that I want to build. So I think now I have more aggressive targets and ambition for everything as a whole life.